Now entering Nerdist.com.
Hey everybody, just want to thank you all for downloading Today We Learned number 7. Number 7. What's in the box? Before we get into today's episode, got a couple things to announce. First, last week we were listed on iTunes' new and noteworthy section. Applause, applause, applause. Thanks for that. Thank you guys for getting us there. That's pretty exciting. Also, in other great news, we have a sponsor. More applause, more applause, more applause. HostGator. HostGator is sponsoring our episode, a few episodes of ours. They're the best place to get websites nowadays. They offer premium web hosting at low costs. So head on over there, grab a .net. .nets tend to be the best way to get killer domain names that are not 180 characters. Because .coms are getting taken up, and the internet's been around for quite a while. HostGator is great because they offer 24/7, 365 phone, chat, and email support. So that way, if you already have a website and you're serving it somewhere else and you just can't get a hold of them, HostGator can help you out. And what's great about that is HostGator will also transfer your site and move your site for you. So that way, if you don't like where you're with, HostGator can assist you and move you on over to them. They offer hosting for any size site. With shared VPS and dedicated servers and all that jazz, so they can accommodate any. They can if you got a blog, if you got a huge business, whatever, they can accommodate you and make you feel at home. So make sure to head on over to HostGator.com, buy some hosting, get some .nets, and make sure to use the coupon code LEARNED30 to get an extra 30% off and support the show. And that would help us out a lot, and it would mean a lot. And we want to, once again, thank everybody for listening, and thank HostGator for sponsoring us. And without further ado, today we learned number 7 with Matt Braunger. He's a very funny comedian. You've seen him on Chelsea Lately, Comedy Central, Conan, Up All Night. He's been around. He's on TV quite a bit because he's really, really fucking funny. And this was a really fun episode to record, and me and Dan had a lot of fun. So hopefully you guys will enjoy it as well. And feel free, once again, give us a good rating on iTunes and tell your friends to subscribe. And let's spread the word and spread the knowledge. So without further ado, Matt Braunger. Today we learn number 7.
Today we learn. Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
Thanks for listening to Today We Learned.
Welcome back to another fun-filled episode.
Today
Today we learned a podcast of knowledge. I'm your host, Dan Casey.
And my name is Razzle.
And we have a very special guest with us today. We have the hilarious Matt Braunger.
Hey, everybody.
Thank you for being here, man.
Oh, sure.
Thanks for joining us.
It's fun.
Thank you. Thanks for coming. You have a Chicago shirt. You're from Chicago.
Born there, didn't grow up there, became a comedian there.
Okay,
that's how that goes. Way too long of an explanation, but
yeah. That's fine because we're going to ask you for some more explanations to and inform the audience. We
Explain yourself.
We always like to. It doesn't need to be about Chicago or anything like that,
Sure.
but we always start the podcast off asking a little bit of if you have a fact to share or something about yourself that the audience might not know,
or something you learned recently that you feel is something you just want to share.
Yeah.
You gave me fair warning by about 10 minutes or so, and I'm still racking my brain for something interesting enough to share.
Okay, well, let's start. Start about yourself then, I guess.
Okay.
Sure. You were born in Chicago. You didn't live there.
No, my parents moved to Portland, Oregon when I was a very small person, and then I grew up there, and I moved out when I was like 17.
Is there a weird fact about Portland, perhaps?
Is that right now it's not that weird. It's like people talk all day about how weird it is, and it's not to be like, it was weird when I was a kid, but it really was. Yeah. It wasn't. Now it's like fun weird. You have all these entrepreneurs that are starting all these cool businesses, and there's 1,000 amazing bars, and it's a great place to spend your 20s and all that jazz. But growing up, it was a little bit, it had that desolation. It didn't have that destination coolness that it has now. Which is, I think it's definitely, it's great. It's great. I like how it's changed, but it is one of those things when I go to my old neighborhood, which, used to be really messed up and dangerous. Like, it's now gentrified, so it's a lot more fun, which good, but, it's that whole thing of driving up property values
Yeah.
so that the people that are from there or that live there, they can't live there anymore.
Yeah, and you lose some of that sense of community and history.
Yeah. And that's the kind of thing that, people, my ilk, I would say middle class and higher, generally speaking, white folks, tend to forget about when we think of our everything from like our marvelous bar we love so much to how our iPods are made, like that kind of thing. And I'm as guilty as anybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's cool. So you moved out of Portland when you were 17.
Went to right at 17, 18. Went to college.
Okay.
Just outside of New York.
Okay.
Finished in 4. And then went to Chicago.
Okay.
And was there for about 6 years.
Okay.
And then moved here.
And that's when you got into comedy in Chicago.
Yeah.
Then you moved here.
I was always doing acting and trying to write and stuff growing up and all through college. And then in Chicago I fell into the improv scene, and from there the stand-up scene. And
Okay.
yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
I lived in Chicago before I moved here.
Oh, yeah.
For a brief spell of 9 months. I moved there from Florida. I lived in Orlando, Florida for a bit, and I wanted to get my feet wet in a bigger city before I moved here. And I made the mistake of moving to Chicago in December, and when it was like the coldest winter that they've had in a while. Then I lived there, 9 months. I'm like, I don't want to deal with another winter. I'm just gonna. My feet are wet. My feet are cold. I'm just bouncing to Los Angeles.
Yeah, it's brutal. It really is brutal. The whole Midwest and of course parts north. I think it brings people together. Sometimes you stay in a relationship a little too long.
For warmth.
Absolutely, for warmth and companionship in that desolate, depression producing season. But it's also kind of great. I kind of miss getting to a destination, be it a show, be it a bar, be it a restaurant or whatever, and getting in the door and like throwing your coat down and going, I'm alive.
Yeah.
Like that thing of, and then you're warm and you're with your friends.
You brave the elements.
Exactly, and it makes it much more of a. There's stakes.
Yeah.
In Los Angeles, besides a long drive, there aren't really stakes
and
like that.
I guess when it is super cold, the air does seem a little fresher.
Yeah.
I think, it definitely
a lot more crisp.
Seems a lot crisper.
Yeah. Although I will say, I grew up in the Boston area, went to college there.
Yeah.
There's a unique problem when you have that sort of wintertime atmosphere in that there is never the right amount of clothing to wear because you will be freezing outside and boiling inside.
Exactly.
You will just be sweating your balls off, and then you go outside, then the sweat freezes, and then it's brutal.
I always hated walking, Chicago's got a great public transit system, but walking to and from that, especially in the wintertime, it happened time and time again. I ended up just wearing bags around my feet that I would wear in my shoes, just because when the snow's on the ground and it freezes and all that, you're walking, and next thing you know, you're stepping through what looks like cement, but it's just a frozen over puddle. And it's like you're like Indiana Jones when he forgets to spell Jehovah at Last Crusade, and he just falls right through.
Yeah.
You're getting a soaker, your feet's getting wet, and it's like, oh, man.
See, when you said the bag thing at first, I immediately pictured you doing like a Mark Wahlberg End of the Departed cosplay type situation.
No, it's I wore bags like in my shoes, just so if I did get a soaker, my shoe would be wet, but my socks wouldn't be wet, because it happened a lot. Frozen ice with snow on top looks just like frozen gravel.
Yeah, and getting onto the L, like getting on a train, is just the ultimate goal. And when you get on there and it shuts and it leaves, and then you got another half an hour to
just
wait.
sitting there.
Hell,
yeah. It's now you're wearing a Chicago shirt, and it is a parody of Miller High Life, right?
The champagne of beers.
The champagne of beers. Fun fact about beers: a lot of people call it liquid courage when you get tipsy and you get the confidence to do things.
Of course,
from drinking alcohol. There's actually a name for that, and it's called pot valiant. And it's an adjective, and it's brave only as a result of being drunk.
Yeah.
And the origin dates back to 1635.
I was going to say, he sounds like an apocryphal Knight of the Round Table.
Yeah.
Pot Valiant.
Pot Valiant.
It's a Pot Valiant.
he's like the drunk who always is like spewing advice.
Down to flagon of mead and slew the Wendigo.
when the word pot, obviously because it's there's a pot of liquor or whatever. But it's like that was like back when you had to cook it You had to cook a mash, and
exactly.
like hope, and what you drained out wouldn't make your liver or kidneys just fail, like immediately fail, or you just lose all your sight. You know, this kind
You
of
lose
thing.
a couple fingers,
So
getting
it's-
those mulling spices.
Yeah, and so if you got a comfortable buzz or you're hammered and your functions still work, you're kind of like, you know what, I might be invincible. I just drank what just came out of that pot, so I think I'm gonna take on this army myself. You guys can hang back. I'm gonna run point on this.
Back when like every alcohol was essentially just prison toilet wine.
Yeah.
Complete modern prison toilet wine would be their fine wine.
Yeah,
would be their Bordeaux. Yeah, I mean, there was something I read that said like most something like 80% of all medieval wars were fought intoxicated, like
really?
in England and Ireland. And
It was a
all that
simpler
stuff.
time.
Yeah, they understood the need for getting drunk. But it's one of those things where it's like, you just have these tools you're hitting each other with, and then when it's over, there's a bunch of people bloody, and maybe you're maimed, but maybe you're alive, and it's like the only way to get someone to do that is through a combination of nationalism, religion, and booze. Just make that into a Slurpee and send them out.
That explains their proud tradition of hooliganism around soccer as well.
Absolutely. I firmly believe that's why hooliganism is so insane all throughout Europe. Is because they don't have land wars anymore.
Yeah. Well,
They need an outlet.
Yeah, exactly.
even that too and those land wars lasted for like days.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't just like a barroom brawl. You get drunk and you throw some punches. You got these people carrying around these blunt objects, these swords that are dull, getting hammered, getting drunk, fighting, getting tired.
Yeah.
So they just hang out.
Then they have a wet halberd contest to break the tension.
They hang out for the night. The next morning they get up and they do it again.
Yeah.
Just until everybody's dead or somebody gives up.
Exactly.
It's like,
Imagine if they
Or they sober up. They're like, what are we doing here?
Imagine if they would have invented like cocaine or Ritalin or something. It's like no breaks.
Yeah.
3 days.
We are super focused on finding this
Screw
holy land.
sleeping.
We have to find this holy land.
Yeah.
40 Days Wars turns into like 3 day.
Yeah. Kiss my
Massacre.
ass, Sir Albert. I am fine. I don't need to sleep.
Speaking of fighting here, here's a fun fact, random fact here. I'm a huge fan. I'm not much of a gamer now, but I'm a fan of the old video games. And Balrog, the old Street Fighter game, Balrog, known in Japan as actually Major Bison. So in the States, the names were switched around.
He's M. Bison in Japan?
Yep. It's
Balrog is the green one?
No, that's Blanca.
Blanca.
Balrog is the guy. He wears like the blue tank top and shorts. He
he's
has
the
red
boxer.
boxing gloves.
The boxer, yeah.
Yeah.
Balrog in the United States is the boxer, but in Japan and in the original Street Fighter, his name was Mike Bison.
Mike
It was
Bison.
M. Bison. It was actually
That explains a lot.
It's
the
Mike
lean
Bison.
protein
Okay.
version of Mike Tyson.
Now we get it.
In all the in any the other foreign countries of it, it was M. Bison, and then obviously in the United States, they had to swap the names around so they wouldn't get sued by Mike Tyson.
Oh, my
obviously.
God.
And
And Muhammad Trolley.
there's actually
It's pronounced trolley.
Yes. Sorry.
In Street Fighter Alpha 3, Balrog actually tells some of his defeated opponents that he's going to bite their ear off.
Wow.
Which is like straight up just ripping off Mike Tyson.
Which is, it's like you don't say that to someone you've beat. Like the reason why he bit him is because Evander was like not losing.
Yeah.
It was driving him crazy.
Yeah.
Or headbutt him.
Yeah.
Headbutt him. You have to
Well, that just
ask
sets him
Mike, but-
apart even further from Mr. Tyson.
Yeah, this is. You're right. My fault. This is not Mike Tyson. This is Mike Bison.
Mike Bison.
It's a different family.
Of the East Egg Bisons?
The East Egg Bisons. Yeah. Oh yeah, that Bison family. I don't want to say they're all terrible, but can you imagine being like a public figure and they take just your name and just tweak it a little bit? I've literally had people ask me if I'm related to Chris Pronger. Is it Chris?
Maybe they changed it to Ellis Island.
With a P. And the Canadian Pronger starts with a P.
They erased the bottom part of B.
But them just having their attorneys having to be like, look, this is a boxer the game creators came up with. I understand you represent the Tyson estate, but this is a name they came up with organically, and this is a pure coincidence.
I mean,
that he has the same build as your client. You know, like
So we could call him Michael Bison.
right.
You spell yours Tyson. This is Bison. Huge difference. We get it.
You sued us over Michael Tassoon.
Yeah.
And we understood. We changed it. that was the former name of Mike Bison that we had.
They speaking of Mike Tyson, I don't have the actual facts up in front of me, but it's something along these lines. I was reading the other day that Nintendo, when they licensed Mike Tyson's likeness for Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, they actually it was along the lines of like $80,000 for only 3 years of something like that, which is why they ended up changing later on. And because they when they were developing the game and everything, they licensed his likeness before he became the heavyweight champion that he was.
Get in while the getting's good.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Mike Tyson didn't profit too much off of Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
Just enough to get a face tattoo.
Yeah.
They actually,
for half of that.
Yeah, they actually. This video was just making the rounds recently of Mike Tyson playing Punch-Out for the first time, and like he can't even make it past the first fighter.
Glass Joe.
Yeah, he couldn't make it past Glass Joe.
That's tough.
That's there's Glass Joe, Soda Popinski, King Hippo.
Mm-hmm.
God, I think I've drawn a blank.
Yeah.
Don Flamenco came back twice. He was like the return of Don Flamenco.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you can't fight as Mike Tyson. That's the problem.
Yeah.
If he could fight as Mike Tyson,
He should have been like the
he'd kill everybody.
unlockable
He has to-
character.
He has to fight as Little Joe.
Yeah.
Come on.
Mac. Yeah.
He's not Little Joe.
Yeah.
You can only fight Coach.
Yeah, and there's like, how is like the size? I mean, the force perspective of that game was way off. Like these guys are all giants.
It was
No, you were playing as a baby.
It was inspired by Rocky IV, the movie that Ivan Drago versus Rocky Balboa. No weight class.
No weight
None.
class.
Ivan Drago, definitely a super heavyweight.
Man, that movie's
Balboa,
Small.
maybe light heavyweight, probably upper middleweight. Because no way.
No way. Trump
Yeah.
sizes.
They're like 30 pounds apart. Like that fight would never happen.
And didn't that fight I think went like 15 rounds, right? Like fights nowadays only actually go like 12. I mean, I realize it's a movie.
Well, it was in Russia.
Yeah, okay.
Where they're hardier there. And they
the currency exchange is 12 equals 15.
yeah, they're like 12 rounds if you fight a bear. But
Yeah.
a man,
Yeah.
15.
This is a fun fact since we're on the subject of Rocky. A writer for Philly Magazine, the Philly Post, this guy named Dan McQuaid, took it upon himself to measure out how far Rocky's training run was in Rocky 2. Because he takes some weird routes through Philadelphia, apparently. And it is a 30.61 mile run that takes him all around the city in this convoluted, crisscross pattern.
Literally humanly impossible.
Yeah, but if you want to take it upon yourself to try it,
Unless you're one of those like long distance runners who have zero body fat and not a lot of muscles to get in the way
and bionic legs.
Yes, I mean the guy who the marathon was named after died after. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The story like he was sent from
He finished
one guy.
it.
Let him know we won the war, and he's like, we won. Just died right there. And they're like,
We should have moved 0.1 miles closer.
Should have dropped him off just the
We saw him coming. We just we're lazy.
We could have went and got him.
Sorry,
Carl can't hear that far.
We're having a bacchanalian.
He's trying to alert us. We made him come all the way over here.
that guy you sent to let us know that you won the battle, he died. Like, I should have sent a bird or something. I thought it looked cool.
Yeah.
It's the dude running up going, we won?
We won.
I didn't want you to get the bird and take the note off the claw and open it, and we won. Like, it's the impact is
He was just trying to slim down for toga season.
Why did you send such a fat guy? His heart gave out.
And
he just drinks olive oil. Come on.
Yeah.
we won 30 days ago.
Well, we already surrendered, so you making it here, it doesn't make any fucking difference.
Wow, wish we knew that.
Yeah, great.
That would have changed the execution of those prisoners.
I kept tripping over my toga.
These are not good running
It's not
sandals.
that I'm fat.
No
God,
arch support.
Don't get sensitive now.
That's funny. Here's speaking of advancements, I guess we've came quite a ways from sending message by runner. I was just last week. I Voyager 1 went interstellar.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the first man-made object to leave the solar system.
To leave the solar system. That's fairly exciting. Like, I'm not very smart, but I'm a huge fan of space, and when I hear of
that's cool.
things humans created leaving the solar system, is just that's exciting to me. So that's I don't know. And it was from what I was reading too. I guess the memory that the way it stores memory is like on 8-track.
On like, big floppy disks.
Yeah, like it's just phenomenal. It's so exciting to me.
Did they say what information is stored on there? Because I know they have like I know SETI, the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence. They have like they beam out like some messages that have like a bunch of different things that human culture has created to try to make contact. But I was curious if they included something on the Voyager like. Here's a DVD of Frasier, or I mean, that's a bit too late, but
when was it sent out?
I can pull that up. I think it was sent out in the 70s, I believe.
Okay.
Voyager 1. I'll pull it up right here. It was sent out a while ago. I was wondering what, like, you always hear of like Interstellar and Intergalactic. And while I'm pulling this up, I guess the definition for interstellar, I was always wondering like what is interstellar? And it's, as far as in astronomy goes, the interstellar medium is the matter that exists in the space between star systems and a galaxy. So you have our star system, you have a different star system. Yeah. So that's what actually is
and Voyager 1 is apparently about 12 billion miles away.
Okay.
From us.
That's a long time. Does it? Do you have one?
It's a little bit longer than Rocky's Run.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, it was launched in 1977. Oh, wow. They can't see the spacecraft anymore, but they can detect its radio light. It looks like a blue speck on the radio telescopes. Scientists, according to this article, scientists claim it entered interstellar space more than a year ago, but now it's definitely confirmed that it's in interstellar space.
Sure.
Which is pretty crazy.
As opposed to Inner Space with Dennis Quaid.
Yes, the space inside.
The space inside you.
And remarkably more finite.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's no way we can't communicate with it or anything like that. It's just
we're getting radio signals back, so I don't know.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, we. I went to my buddy Bobak. I'm friends with my buddy Bobak. Works at NASA, JPL. Up in
NASA Mohawk guy. He made the rounds on the internet.
I was hanging out with him one time. He gave me and my friends a tour of it, and they have right in the lobby there. They have like these big TV screens with all the satellites sending information and on the intervals and all that. And while I was there, you had Voyager 1, and you could see it was sending, and it was just receiving information from Voyager 1. This was back in March, so we're looking at the TV screen real time as we're receiving information from Voyager 1 way past Pluto or whatever it is now, considering it's not a planet. I don't think they call it that anymore. But I think he said it was either 14 hours or 14 days it takes to get information. I know.
I'm sure it takes.
I think it takes like 4 hours.
It's buffering.
I think it takes like 4 hours. My math is wrong. It's been a while since I've spoken of this, but I think it's to get information from the Mars rover. I believe it's around 4 hours.
Wow.
So it's.
Well, it's funny. Like when I used to do closed captioning for the hearing impaired.
Okay.
And people would always ask me, like friends would ask me, is there, and it wasn't live.
Yeah.
I could never. But you just do a file and send it in. But like people would friends would ask me, do you ever like write something stupid, like McCoy on like Law and Order? It's just like oh, my butthole, like whatever, And I was like, no, because there's like 3 people that watch it after me. Yeah. Of course, there's that temptation.
Yeah.
And that was a small temptation. It's like you're working so much, you're just kind of like, I don't even, it doesn't cross my mind. But it's like, I always think of that kind of stuff on massive levels, like this. Like the first broadcast back, and the guy's just listening, and he's writing something, and they're like, what does it say? And he like takes the headphones off, and he just says,
YOLO.
Just says, so many dragons. That's all it says. There's what? It's as if it's in shock.
Yeah.
like whatever's beyond our solar system is just horrifying. It's like the part of the map, old-time map that say, here be monsters.
Yeah, you know all those,
Don't go
those
past
paintings you see at Renaissance fairs of dragons and like fantastical gorges.
They're just like that.
It's just that.
They're literally medieval dragons. There has to be a million.
I just want to see, like, the guy's got the headphones on. There's all the other scientists are like creeping over his shoulder while he's writing this down in longhand, and without even like taking the headphones off, he just starts writing. There are dragons. So like, there are. So you just have this room of scientists. There are
draconian
some
systems,
form of gas.
draconian,
Yeah. And it's just dragons killing everybody. It's just like.
Well, the
That would be
Voyager
funny.
1,
I love
Voyager 1
dragons.
has the equipment to operate until the year 2020, so we still have some time.
That's great.
To discover so many dragons. That's cool.
I love dragons. Are one of my favorite things ever. Like,
Really?
I mean, they're not even. I mean, they're not real. But
They're probably top of the
if they
interest
if
list.
they were real, they'd be one of my favorite. Just because I mean, the concept of a flying creature that can breathe fire. I mean, they're cool.
Oh, yeah.
They're cool looking. And I'm not talking like these Asian dragons and like street fairs that are running around in straight lines. Like I want wings and I want like Game of Thrones dragons. Those dragons.
Those are cool.
I want to see those dragons. Like if I was a billionaire scientist, like fuck Jurassic Park. I want like a dragon park.
Yeah,
Yeah,
create.
Create.
Yeah.
I think we can put the Hyperloop on pause.
Yeah.
Let's put our R&D money on making dragons a
Come
reality.
on, Elon Musk. Figure out how to
Yeah.
genetically
How do you-
engineer a dragon.
Although I actually I got to interview Bill Nye once, asking him about sort of like nerdy questions, whether these things are possible, and he was saying that Jurassic Park, while it is great science fiction, it's unlikely that we would see something like that realized in our lifetime.
Yeah.
But I think that's the point of the movie. It's one of the lessons that John Hammond's folly instilled in all of us.
I think anytime a person who is like, you know, a high-level scientist watches any science fiction, they just go, gee, no.
Come
I think,
on.
like, the people that engineer the new cars watch Iron Man and go, all your limbs would break. You'd break all your limbs. No.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. It would be so hot in that suit.
exactly. Where's the cooling unit? Yeah. When you stop the suit, your face would crush. Against the
Gravity
inside.
That's why he
alone.
has a protective goatee.
Sure.
It's like cushioning.
Yeah, you wouldn't have your faithful British servant saying nice things like,
Hello, sir.
I believe all your bones are pulverized, sir.
I'll tell you what.
Jarvis, I'm just a puddle of liquid.
Jarvis, Jesus Christ, help me.
Jarvis, send out a beacon.
Jarvis, why didn't you
Kill
tell me this was a possibility? I didn't find it prudent, sir. Are you serious?
Jarvis. Oh, God. I'm programmed to be such a dick.
And then in Iron Man 3, when he wakes up and his armor's already off, like how is that? Like that?
Yeah.
That is.
Right.
Where are all these hinges?
He's been flying so fast, and then the rockets go out, and he just lands in the snow. It's like that, you would be dead.
Yeah.
He
Just
installed
dead.
the NBA tearaway pants module, so it's just easy off.
There's an app on the iPhone that is Jarvis, like as promoting.
It's
the new-
actually pretty cool.
that's
I was playing around with it. It's kind of cute.
I have it. I have it purely for the alarm and the
Yes.
reminder, and it's like every morning at 8:00. It's Paul Bettany saying, "Sir, you need to wake up now."
That's
Sir,
cool.
I'm sorry to disturb you, but you need to wake up now. And it's just this British Paul Bettany.
That's
You can also have it
Yeah.
be for your calls, like, I believe it's important. They're still calling.
yeah. We mentioned Jurassic Park in a couple of weeks ago. It was Dan's birthday. We had his birthday party, and at the table we were playing a game. You know, we were talking about somebody mentioned Jurassic Parkour.
Yes.
And then I said Jurassic Parker Lewis can't lose and all that. And and it got me wondering about when you merge words together and play that like type of fun game or whatever.
Yeah.
Like Doug Benson's got on his podcast, he's got like build a movie title. Where
Yes.
You build titles and you merge words. And there's actually a name for that, and it's called portmanteau or portmanteau. Portmanteau. And it's anytime you merge words like, you know, Jurassic Parkour, or, you know, a few I have listed here is motel. It's motor and hotel.
Sure.
Snark. I didn't realize this. It's a snide remark.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then one of my favorites that I learned was Velcro, which actually comes from the French velour and croquet, which velour means velvet and
crochet.
Crochet, yeah. Crochet means hook. So it's a a velvet hook, which is Velcro, which that's where the phrase Velcro
Doesn't
comes
velour crochet sound like a high-end fashion label, though?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Portmanteau, yeah. So that was interesting. I guess
Yeah.
anytime. Also known as compound words, but
Yeah. Well,
But it's now a
But
word.
it's like,
I think it has to be something that's just accepted in the lexicon.
Yeah.
You know.
but another, on the subject of wordplay, I found this very interesting. We all know palindromes. They are words that are spelled the same forwards and backwards, race car, for example. But there's also a term for words that spell one word forwards and they spell another word backwards.
Oh, wow.
And that is actually called... The word for this term, for example, like dog, backwards is God, was is saw, devil, lived, reward, drawer. But the word for this is... Simordinalap, which is palindromes backwards.
Yeah.
You know, something that flows off the tongue, easy to remember.
Come on.
Oh my god, so what's your favorite Simordinalap?
Come up with a new name.
Yeah.
Just come up with a new name.
Don't
get cute.
What's interesting about this is
they research wordplay for a living. All they do is get cute.
It's interesting too because
Yeah.
Simordinalap is a known word. Like people legitimately use that as that, but it's also like Simordinalaps are also known as volvograms, heteropalindromes, semi-palindromes, half palindromes, reverse grams, minoretes.
That minorites? That is like that's some
like a
H.P.
minotaur.
Lovecraft shit.
Yeah, and most commonly is an anadrome, but it's like just settle on one. Simordinalap, I get it.
I like
It's
heteropalindromes.
heteropalindrome.
Palindromes are just gay palindromes.
Yeah.
Come on.
We don't want these two words getting married.
No.
They're two different words, dog and God.
Simordinalap, anadrome, lived and devil as one, reward and drawer, and it's mostly for the nerds who just build sentences featuring palindromes. Because you can tie them together so that way when you construct a sentence, it's easy to spell the sentence backwards. Like if you put the devil lived, devil and lived end up becoming a palindrome in and of itself.
Oh, yeah.
So that's pretty interesting. Yeah.
Well, while we're on the subject of, going back to the subject of future tech, there's actually, in South Korea now, there is a new building that's being touted as sort of an invisible tower. It has an LED facade, and there's cameras on the back that project the surroundings behind the building to the front. So this is like a skyscraper that's camouflaged. So when it's turned on, the system will make the outlines of the tower sort of indiscernible to the naked eye.
Wow.
And they can also be used to broadcast special events or ads and just market directly to your brain.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's pretty interesting stuff. Sort of, it'd be kind of cool if you project sort of like a more pastoral landscape amidst all the hustle and bustle of a giant city like Seoul.
Or perhaps project a dragon attacking the city.
Yeah, or just a shit ton of dragons
Just to cause
as well.
mass panic.
Yeah.
According to this, I'm reading this article on Mashable, Mashable.com about the skyscraper, and it's actually also apparently going to have like an open floor plan to where you can actually a transparent floor plan to where you can actually see down. Visitors can see down multiple levels.
If you're using the
Oh,
bathroom,
wow.
you can see everyone
Yeah,
pooping.
so
That's no good.
so
That is
apparently
no good. I
some
don't
of
want
the rooms
that
you'll be able to
forever.
see down.
I think part of the joy of a skyscraper is you can leave the window.
Exactly.
And you can kind of forget for a minute that
Yeah,
you're like,
you're so high up in the air.
I shouldn't be this high up.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to look down on an angle and be able to see the street, from leaving my office.
Oh, my
Yeah,
God.
it's one of those
Oh.
things where, especially there's some skyscrapers where you get up to the top or like an observation deck, and they just have like the glass floor, and you can see all the way down. I'm like, oh no,
That's crazy.
Thank you, but no.
Well, listen to this too. I'm still reading this article on Mashable. The Tower Infinity, as they're calling it, will primarily be used for entertainment and leisure, according to the press release from the U.S. GDS Architects or whatever. The skyscraper is set to include a water park, movie theaters, and restaurants. So not only is this a transparent building, but there's going to be a water park on there.
Yeah.
The one thing skyscrapers are missing.
It's true.
This just sounds like a movie
flume
waiting,
ride.
This just sounds like a bad movie waiting to happen.
Yeah.
Like something like.
Well, it's the thing about water park is their tensile strength is and structure is constantly getting tested by every weight of person going through these tubes. And it's like you don't want to have that up that high.
Exactly.
It's
on the top floor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like no.
I'm interested in theory in riding a water slide down from 100 stories up, but I would probably achieve maximum velocity and die.
And knowing this too, they'll have like a part of the slide come out of the building.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and
absolutely.
back
They will.
into the building.
A mall when I was a kid we used to go to. I had a water park in it, and when it went outside the building, like at night, the tube would get dark.
Yeah.
and it was fun when you're a kid. But like
Yeah.
I went down like a water slide, like in this water park-ish kind of thing in this resort town.
Yeah.
I was there with my parents, my girlfriend, a couple weeks ago, and like it was fun, but like halfway through, I was like, all right, this is kind of scary now, because it's like I get self-conscious about my size in that thing. I'm like, you go out and you take that curve. I'm like, I'm going to fly off the side.
Yeah.
Like there's no question I won't. I didn't, but it's like, with that kind of thing coming out the thing, you just think you're going to be the one.
Yeah, exactly.
That famous dude that just shot out the side.
The one who gets decapitated on the Six Flags coaster.
Exactly.
And
like, it happened to someone.
Yeah.
Someone won that horrible lottery.
Exactly.
And it'll be all clear acrylic, too, so it'll look like you're sliding out of the building, thousands of feet above the
Yeah, well, you'll have a couple seconds of like, wow, they made this look so real. Oh, my God.
Yeah. It's like, I don't even, like, in Vegas, they have those rides on top of those buildings, and it's like, I don't want to hang off the side of a building for any reason.
That's how you get fired from this building.
Yeah.
Send them down the exit slide.
I thought this was only for entertainment. You're fired.
You will be liquefied and repurposed for a new worker.
That's funny. That's and then okay, what about how dangerous is the airplane and the flying and all that if it looks like it's see-through? Like, I mean, obviously you have to. It's got to be somewhat visible for just the air traffic.
Oh man, I mean,
like
I think you also got to hope that they wouldn't route aircraft through a city like that, especially since
that's never happening.
Hey, pal.
Not that it was going to happen before, but
this cumulonimbus is a bit full. Why don't you take a detour through the center of the city? No reason.
Avoid the buildings.
Yeah. Watch out for that invisible one.
Here's speaking of businesses, I guess, and how they stay in business. I don't know how that's going to do. How well that building's going to do, because I feel like Dubai is always like, oh, we're going to invent all these cool things, and then they never do because there's no financing or whatever. But in 1993, Jack in the Box, the fast food chain Jack in the Box, caused the most infamous food poisoning outbreak in contemporary history. 732 people were infected with E. coli. 4 children died, and 178 other victims were left with permanent injury, including kidney and brain damage.
And this actually happened during when they were making a big push eastward. They were trying to push into the East Coast and all that.
Okay.
And that specific outbreak is a huge reason why they don't have any. They don't really have many chains on the East Coast.
Yeah,
I could see that.
They're also like famously like the kind of the worst fast food. Everything they have is full of trans fats. It's just cutting every single corner they can by the definition of the law to make stuff cheaper.
Exactly.
And cheaper. I mean, you see those ads, and it's just like $2, and it's just like. $4
$2 gets you a burger and a
taco and fries, and like it doesn't add up.
Yeah,
it's like John Roy had that bit about how like the McDonald's cheeseburgers like 69 cents. He's like, I don't want my food to cost less than gum.
That's
it is disheartening. Yeah, especially like Del Taco in particular. I'm like, a burrito for 50 cents. Like, I will pay you more money to not give me that.
Yeah, don't give me the horse meat.
Yeah, That's. I feel like at that point it's off-brand horse meat.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Off-brand
horse substitute.
Just a terrible breed. Just a sad horse.
And apparently, majority of the victims were children under 10 years of age too. So it's like, first off, I'm not a parent, but I have 2 nephews, and Jack in the Box is still around, which means if 4 children died, I mean, all I need is 4 children to die before. I mean, I don't need 4 children to die, but the 732 people were infected. How is a business like that even still around?
Yeah.
Like how come lawsuits haven't bankrupted Jack in the Box? Like,
because they're too rich. I mean,
but when you cause that big of an outbreak of food poisoning, like you deserve to be shut down.
Well, that's the thing. It took them years to bounce back from that, and I think also they own the Hardee's brand, so they probably shifted their bankroll towards pushing that. Yeah. It's only been recently that they've made their resurgence.
Yeah. I mean, I think it comes down to a combination of them shifting the blame and figuring out, is it one employee that somehow screwed up, or and also paying off the families. And when you think about we don't know what kind of problems the families were going through, but it's like when they're just like, we'll give you $10 million. It's not kind of like, so my grandparents are set for life, not just these kids.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like,
Yeah.
fuck it. You know, like
Yeah.
that kind of thing. I would hope I would never make that decision. I
Yes.
hope I would just be like, fuck this. I'm taking a second job,
Yeah.
and you guys are, you know.
And
Yeah, I mean,
But
I guess too. I mean, that's a lot of lawsuits and a lot of days in court. You know, at some point, you just kind of want to deal with the grief of your, you know, your
Yeah.
child, deal with it, and,
right.
and move on.
But the thing is, if you kill Jack, then they all go away. I think if you can find Jack,
you have to remove his giant
find his head.
No, that is his head.
Yes.
You just have to.
Is it? It
I think
always.
that's the plot of Insidious too.
I mean, it's funny now knowing this fact. I feel guilty, but I did a Jack in the Box commercial, and a long time ago, and the guy who does, you know, they have an actor who's like, you know, tall and good build who wears the thing.
Yeah.
But the guy who does the voice is the guy who directs all the ads.
Really?
So the guy who's like, can you
try
just,
my new
can you
try
just
my
go
new
in?
bacon taco
Won't you try?
burger.
Let's try that shot again, and you turn this way, and you're like, and I remember doing that, and I'm like, I know
Jack?
that voice, and I'm like, oh, it's him.
Pay no attention to the man
You know?
behind the camera.
Yeah,
about,
exactly.
How how'd he get that gig? Like,
Yeah.
he definitely is double.
Well, their
double
ad
banking
budget,
the money. He's
Yeah.
got
their
twice
ad
as
budget
much.
got slashed after the outbreak. So
Yeah.
You know, his agent's like, okay, we found you a director, and but the agent wanted to get into voiceover work, so he's just like, oh, what's your
Yeah,
voiceover
I think he just
work?
came up with the whole concept and everything, and they were just like, run with it.
Yeah.
and it's like his baby. You know, it's
Coincidentally, he's also the reason why they had the food poisoning outbreak.
oh yeah,
he licked
we
everything.
don't know that to be true.
Yeah.
It's I'm looking here, and apparently it's health inspectors traced the contamination to the restaurant's Monster Burger sandwich, which had been on a special promotion using the slogan "So good, it's scary," and it was sold at a discounted price. And apparently there was such a high demand that it overwhelmed the restaurants, and it caused them to cook it for not long enough.
Their
apparently.
slogan: "It will literally kill you."
Yeah.
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 I try not to eat fast food as it is.
Oh,
Purely
for sure.
Yeah.
mainly because of that.
For
Like
sure.
that.
Just-
That bit.
yeah,
I
It's
don't
just
want my
not
food.
smart. You know?
Well, I think you also sum it up nicely in your bit about going to Taco Bell late at night.
Oh right, sure.
Where it's just like, it seems like a good idea at the time, and then you were immediately filled with regret and sodium and just misery.
Well, it's a friend of my writing partner, JD. He told me once, like, this is before we started writing together, like years ago. He's like, oh yeah, my wife and I were just like, hey, let's get some fried chicken. There's KFC right there. Like, I haven't had KFC in a long time. It was almost like a novelty thing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, KFC. And he's like, and we ate it, and we got immediately sad. Like, not out of guilt. They just literally felt a mood change come over them from whatever it was, and it was just like, oh man, like. And he's not like a new agey dude at all. It's not like that at all. But it was just like he was just being honest. It's just like we both just got depressed, and we're like,
Sops up
why am I feeling
gravy
so depressed?
and endorphins.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
Completely unrelated to food. This is quite interesting. There's an island in a lake that is on an island that is in a lake that is on an island. It's called,
What is this Christopher Nolan geography bullshit?
It's called Vulcan Point, and it's a rock in the on the let's see here, I'm pulling it up here. The Taal volcano. It's a complex volcano located on the island of Luzon in the Philippines, and inside that island there's a lake with another island and a lake, and inside that lake is the Vulcan Point.
Whoa.
It's a like the inception of islands. It's quite interesting. If you pull it up on Wikipedia, it looks amazing. Like this aerial shot they have is pretty cool. The elevation is 311 meters, 1,020 feet is the elevation, and
That's like the kind of image that you would get on like a pop-up ad, like, has geography gone too far?
Vulcan Point. Yeah, that's pretty neat.
It's not populous, is it? There's no one who
No.
lives there.
It's
not like it's one
It's
dude.
all just it's all
Yeah.
just.
Yeah.
Just they don't have to explain it to their children.
Yeah, that's where caprice unnaturally occurs.
Actually, Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. That's where their ship. That's where their luggage ended after Joe versus the volcano.
Okay. So the lakes are all orange soda.
Yeah, the lakes are that orange. That was a good movie. People shit on that movie, but I enjoyed that movie.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was fun.
It's like the kind of thing it would never ever get made again.
No,
It's so weird.
So weird and 80. Like it's definitely
So weird and just a
80s.
massive budget and
Yeah.
yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm waiting for Larry Crown 2. Back in the Crown.
Larry Crown. Who was in that? That was
That was
Pierce
Tom.
Brosnan.
That was Tom Hanks and
Julie
Sandra-
Roberts.
Julie Roberts.
Yeah, about to say Sandra Bullock. So I don't know who that's more insulting to.
I'll tell you what. Like I speaking of sequels, I wouldn't be upset. I was just talking to my buddy the other day about this. Michael J. Fox has a new show coming out,
Right.
And I've heard nothing but good things about it. And I'm a huge fan of Michael J. Fox, and I'm a huge fan of Back to the Future. And as much as I hate unwarranted sequels, I can't say that I would be upset if they made a Back to the Future 4 and just wrote in Michael J. Fox's Parkinson's as like a result from plutonium and time travel.
Oh my God! Can you imagine trying to be the guy to pitch that idea to him?
Yeah.
And your problems are a result of this movie that made you famous.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Oh my God.
I wouldn't be upset.
Your exposure to Teen Wolves. That's this reminds me. I don't know if we've talked about this before, but Nick Cave of Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds fame. He's also a screenwriter. He wrote 3:10 to Yuma, and he wrote a sequel to Gladiator, in which it follows Marcus Aurelius through time. He becomes immortal and time travels all the way to present day, and there's wars with robots and all sorts of crazy shit.
Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
3:10 to Yuma is great.
Yes,
That's a very
That's
good movie.
great.
It's no Gladiator 2,
I
but
love, if you've ever seen the original 3:10 to Yuma and you look at the new one, definitely just stick with the new one, because the original, in the new one there's that whole scene where the wagon robbery where they just throw dynamite and that dynamite's that guy, and it's just the craziest chase scene. And in the original 3:10 to Yuma, they literally just cut the wagon off at the pass and it guns out, and the guy just literally stops and is like, "Well, I'm being robbed." That just made me laugh. I was watching it on cable, just made me laugh out loud. The difference
awesome.
that Hollywood makes. You got me,
Yeah.
which is what it would be.
Yeah.
Go as fast as you can with this gold, but yeah.
Then they all
8 guys cut you. What, are you going to go through them?
No.
Shoot me for someone else's money.
Yeah.
There's a point where you're just like, all right, you got it.
when they die in those movies, they all just the older ones, they just clutch their wound, then just and fall over.
Yeah, you got me. Right.
Speaking of clutching wombs,
Say wombs, because that's not what he said, man.
Womb Clutcher sounds like an Aphex Twin album.
That's pretty bad.
wounds, etc., either or, whatever. Unrelated to whatever we're talking about here. A fun fact. When your limbs fall asleep, everybody, you have that. There's actually a word for that, and it's technically called paresthesia. And it's because, you put pressure on your nerve pathways and blood vessels so that the nerves can't transmit the signals properly. Then when you stand up or when you try to move your arms around to wake up your limbs and change positions, the blood flows back to the limb, which gives a boost to the nerves that are misfiring, which gives off that tingling sensation.
Pins and needles sensation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That is the worst though. When you're sitting down for a while and you go to stand up, you're like, I'm not standing today.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's so strange. Just have that numb hand. You're like, you're banging it on stuff,
and you can't feel it, and you just like,
you touch it. You're like, is this a mannequin hand? What the fuck?
Yeah, weird. Well, it's almost at our time here.
Yeah. Matt, thank you so much.
Oh, thanks for it was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I learned a lot.
Good.
I'm sure no one ever says that, even as a gag on the show.
I think you're the first guest that have said that, and we're glad.
Most people are like, who cares about all this knowledge?
I feel dumber. I'm out of here.
This is stupid, and you guys are stupid. Good night.
I want my
It's the
time
middle of the
back.
afternoon.
Delete.
No, yeah, I definitely. There's a lot of cool stuff here. This is a lot of fun.
That's
And is there anything that
what
you'd
do you
like
got?
to plug, promote?
Oh yeah.
I know you have a podcast on the Nerdist Network.
Yes, Ding Donger with Matt Braunger. It's just me spouting off for 15 minutes about whatever. And so, definitely download that and listen to it. Then also, if you... When does this come
This will
out?
probably be coming out on the 23rd, I think.
Yeah,
which
okay.
is this coming up Monday.
Okay, well, it comes out every Thursday.
Okay.
So,
And then, do you have any dates or any shows you want to
I'm
promote?
going to be on the special guest of the Dad Boner Tour with Mike Burns.
Okay.
Carl Welzine. We're going to read from the book Power Moves. And we're going to have special guests in every town we go to help us bring his screenplay of Roadhouse 2, Pain Don't Hurt, to life. So that's going to be great. So just go. I think if you just go to carlwelzine.com, or else just go to my site, they'll all be listed there.
Okay.
And,
Awesome.
So that'll be all over the country.
And your website is mattbraunger.com.
That's right.
Correct. Cool. Well, Matt, thank you for joining us. We'd love to have you back.
Sure.
You can follow me on Twitter at my name is Razzle and the number 2.
And I am at OsteoFerocious. And guys, thank you so much for listening. We always appreciate your feedback. If you have a fact that you'd like to tell us, you'd like us to put on the show, you can find us on Facebook, Today We Learned with Razzle and Dan, or on Twitter at TWL Podcast. So please talk to us. We're so lonely. We just want to talk to you.
Yeah. TWL Podcast at gmail.com.
.com. Not org. That'd be weird.
Feel free, if you like the show, please give us a review on iTunes and tell your friends to subscribe. If we can, share it with all your friends if you can, and let's try and increase our subscriber count.
And as always, we hope you learned something.
And thanks for listening. Tell your friends.
Now leaving Nerdist.com.